Today I'm going to show you how to make a roll cake with a painted pattern on it. This cake looks very impressive, but it's surprisingly easy to make. Let's get started. First, print out the pattern you want to draw. Adjust the picture size so it will fit the cake pan nicely. Then cut out a piece of parchment paper that will fit the pan. Secure the picture on a silicone mat, then place the parchment paper on it. You will have to estimate where the top of the cake will be. Since we are going to roll the cake, the top of the cake should be just a little off-centered. Don't worry if you don't get it exactly right. Now we're going to start with the decorating batter to draw a design. First, mix the room temperature softened butter and egg white. Then sieve the powdered sugar and cake flour in there and mix until all well combined. The batter will be very thick in the beginning. Don't worry about it. Just keep mixing it until it's smooth. Now divide the batter and color them accordingly. Color them with gel food color. Transfer all batter to a piping bag once colored. For this picture, I know I need more of the red and white, so I have more batter for these two colors. Start with the outline. Now carefully fill in the color. If you're afraid that you might smudge the outline, after you draw the outline, you can put this in the freezer for 10 minutes, then continue filling the rest of the color. You will only need very little batter. I use 30 grams of each ingredient because the weight of one large egg white is 30 grams, but you can certainly cut this recipe down in half if you want to. When done, place this in the freezer for 30 minutes. As you can see, I still have plenty of drawing batter left. Now we'll make the cake. First, mix the oil and flour. Stir until all well combined. First, combining the oil and flour is simple and won't develop gluten. You can stir it any way you want and you don't have to sieve the flour neither. Now add the milk and egg yolks. Stir until all well combined. Now let's whip the egg whites. Add cream of tartar to the egg whites and beat on high speed. Cream of tartar can stabilize the meringue. If you don't have it, you can add a small teaspoon of lemon juice or vinegar instead. You can also use a hand mixer for this. Both methods will work just fine. When you see big bubbles forming, add a third of the sugar. Continue to beat on high speed. When the foam becomes finer and silkier, you can add another third of the sugar. Continue to beat on high speed. The foam will continue to get silkier, and you will start to see some texture lines or trails. At this point, you can add the remaining sugar and beat on medium-high speed. Continue beating until you see some stiff peaks. After lifting the whisk, the meringue is stable and firm and the peak will not drape. Scoop about 1/3 of the egg whites to the batter and fold it in gently. This is to lighten the batter initially and prepare it for the rest of the egg whites. Once it's mixed well, change to a spatula and pour it into the egg whites. Continue to fold gently until it's all combined. Repeat this movement until the batter is homogeneous. Don't overdo it. I'm applying a little bit of batter in the pan before placing the parchment paper on it to secure it in place. This way it won't move around later when we try to flatten the batter. Take the drawing out from the freezer and place it on the pan. Transfer the batter into it immediately. Use something flat to smooth out the batter so it will spread out evenly in the pan. I'm using an icing scraper. Tap this a couple of times to get rid of the big bubbles. Place this in the preheated oven and bake it at 320 degrees for 30 minutes. Once it's out of the oven, slide the cake onto a cooling rack and let it cool off completely. After about 10 minutes, flip the cake over and peel off the parchment paper. We just want to loosen the parchment paper at this point. Now place a clean piece of parchment paper on there and let it continue to cool. It will take a couple of hours for the cake to cool completely. Now that the cake is cool, let's make some whipped cream frosting. Combine a heavy whipping cream and powdered sugar in a chill mixing bowl. Whip on high speed until it thickens. This is good. Now flip the cake over. Cut off the edges. Cut the end of the cake at an angle so it will flush against the cake batter. Score a few lines so that it will be easier to start rolling at the beginning. Apply an even layer of whipped cream frosting on it. Now we'll start rolling the cake. When it's all rolled up, while pulling the paper on the bottom, use something flat and give it a little push. This will tighten it up even more and give you a rounder roll. Put the seam side down and place this in the fridge to chill for a couple of hours to set. And this is now completed.